Hey, it's Mark, RPM Tesla Aftermarket Accessories. We're talking about paint protection film kit for the rocker panels on the Model 3. This covers the bottom of the doors, and take a look right here. We're going to give you a whole kit to cover this entire painted surface from here all the way down, bottom of the doors. We're going to show you how to install the whole kit. This is a 4-piece kit. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is a 3M pattern made out of 3M Scotchgard Pro paint protection film. It's the best. This customer brought their car in, and this car is brand new. And look at this. The paint is already chipped. So these rocker panels will chip very easy. So this is essential if you're going to be driving. We also recommend our great mud flaps that'll stop a lot of road debris from flying up. So let's take a look at what you're going to get in the kit. You're going to get a nice urethane soft squeegee. You're going to get the soap concentrate. You're going to mix with 42 ounces of water, and then you're going to get the pattern. Now the pattern is very long, 7 feet 4 inches. We have both doors, both rocker panels, all laid out. It's quite simple. You've got a left and a right side, almost like folding it down the middle. So this is the rocker panel for the driver's side and the door. So this is the upper section. This whole area is the driver's side. This is the passenger side. You're going to need to get your hands wet, clean. You're going to need to make a big bottle of soap and suds. And this is the squeegee you'll use. It's super easy. You can move it around, lift it up. And now we're going to show you how to install it. Take your time. If you have it in the wrong spot, always peel it back, spray it, remove it, put it back on. Let's get started with the installation. Okay, thank you. Preparation. Clean that paint. Get everything off. It's essential before you begin installing this. Okay, now in this video, we're going to speed it up. We're going to show step by step, and we're only going to do one side of the car, obviously. I'm going to be doing a little bit of narrating, but everything is pretty self-explanatory. Once you make your solution up, you're going to start with the smallest piece and install it first. Again, clean. The soap water solution will give you the lubrication to move the parts around on the paint. Start with the smallest one and make sure your hands are soapy. The urethane 3M protection film is wet and soapy, and you see how it slides up and down. You're just going to position it. Once you anchor it or put it right where you want it, when you squeegee the water out, it immediately starts to cling. So you have to hold on to it, squeegee it. If you don't like where it is, pick it up, move it, get it wet, and just start over again. So we recommend you start with the smallest square piece first. This one is right behind the front fender, and if you're down too low and it's touching the rocker panel, move it up, peel it off, get it wet, reposition it. Don't ever worry about taking it off too many times. The adhesive takes days to fully bond, so you're able to make it wet, reposition it, put it back on like we are doing here to show you over and over again. So just get those corners lined up, make sure it's not hanging down. Once you find the exact spot, then you anchor it. And you anchor it by pushing the water out. It's quite simple, and this is a really good piece to start with because it gives you the understanding of the whole process if you've never done this before. But once you like exactly where it is, then you push harder and harder. You spray water on the front so the squeegee glides right over the thick urethane film, and then when you get it right where you want it, then you're going to move on to the second piece. It's very easy, it is tedious, but this will give you 10 years of paint protection for your rocker panels, and it adds to the value of the car. You can always peel it off one day if you want to redo it, or if you sell the car, you can let them know the rocker panels and the doors have been protected since you installed it yourself. Next is the bigger piece, and then we're going to do the bottom piece last because it is the largest piece. So you'll be able to tack it right on the car, move it around, position it where you want it, reposition it, lift it up. So let's continue on with the video. And again, anytime it's getting slow, I'll be sure to speed it up. But please note, when you pull it off, with the backing thick plastic, you need to squirt it and get it wet. Get it wet. It has to stay wet. Don't let it dry. Spray both sides, front and back. Remember, you need lubrication on the front as well, so that when you put it on the door here, it will allow you to anchor it. And you need to not get it dirty, not drop it on anything like we just did, or you're going to be squeegeeing it and cleaning it off again. So again, just tack it on loose and start on one corner. This is the door panel, of course, and you want to just make it grab a little bit, and then you're going to come down to the actual lower front piece. Spray on top, spray on the back, over and over and over, making sure you have no dirt or anything that would impede with the adhesive against your paint. So just line it up, squeegee it, and if you're hanging down too low, you'll know. Then you need to move it up slightly, just like this. If it's hanging below that door line, it's too low. So just make it wet, squeegee it down, reposition it. You'll be surprised how you can move it around, how flexible it is. If you want to stretch it a little or not stretch it, it's designed to fit perfectly on the doors. This is 3M's exact pattern. We didn't even alter it. It fits really nice, and it hides right in the door body line, as you can see. So just continue on, watch the videos. If you have questions, you can text us, call us, message us. We'll be able to help you. But we want you to know, don't be afraid to pull it on and off and get it wet, squeegee it down, reposition it. If you get a speck of dirt or lint under it, you might not notice if it's a black car or a gray car or a red car. But if it's white, you're going to see everything. But it's okay. You just flush it out. It's really simple to do. Just don't stretch, don't pull too much. You don't need to. It's already cut to fit this door panel, and the rocker panel is perfect. One last thing before we let it go. When you do the rocker panels, there is an extra lip that's going to roll up inside the door. So it's really cool. You won't have a line at the bottom or the top of the rocker panel, because sometimes you can get dirt in those crevices or the seams, so to speak. And this pattern is nice because it wraps up and inside the door. So it's really easy to clean and wipe down if you ever get any dirt built up. And now we're going to let it go and watch the close-ups. Watch how we're always taking it off, pulling it out. You get any dirt under it, just flush it out. Don't forget that soap bottle will be plenty for the whole, both sides of the car. So let's stop with the audio and we'll continue here. And I'll be coming back shortly when we get to the rocker panel piece. Okay, here in this step, notice how much squeegeeing we're doing. This is what you want to do after you're happy with the final position. You want to push all the water out. That will allow it to start clinging and grabbing, and then you got to leave the car sitting out in the sun to dry out, or just let it sit in your garage. And again, just make sure the material's not hanging down too low so you don't get dirt under it. It doesn't come loose. And just squeegee away, pushing all the water out. Remember, pushing the water out from underneath will help it to set up and cure and basically dry and stick to your car. Okay, so now we're in the final position. We've pushed all the water out. Before you rub a towel against it like we're going to do, be very gentle. Don't push hard. If you push hard, you're going to move the pattern. So you want to just squeegee, 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 and then lightly, lightly dry it. Make sure you pushed everything out. You also might notice some water bubbles after that will build up. Don't worry, you can either push them out or just wait for it to dry. The water will dry from underneath this urethane plastic. It will take days if you leave lots of it, maybe a week, but if you squeegee it all up to the edge, get it wet like we did, and just push it really hard, all the water will come out and then you can simply wipe it off. So it looks pretty simple so far. This is a small piece, but again, the rocker panel will be the most challenging, so we're leaving that for last. Okay, now that you've completed the back door, which is relatively simple to the front door, we hope you enjoyed that and watched everything that we were demonstrating. Now it's time to get ready for the 7-foot long, huge rocker panel single piece. What you want to do now, one more time, after you have prepped everything and cleaned everything with alcohol, is to get the rocker panel wet. So make sure that you wipe it off good, give it one last clean over, get it wet, soak it up, make sure there's no dirt or dust or any hairs or linen or lint. Again, you only need to take this kind of precaution if you're working on a white car. But nonetheless, we did it and we're showing you here. Just wipe it down really good one more time and get it really wet, so when you come back with that large piece in your hand, you'll be able to tack it in place or slightly above where you're going to finally put it. So let's get into that now. And now you want to make sure your hands are nice and wet, soaking wet before you pull it off the sheet. And then you're ready to go grab the large rocker panel piece. So again, make sure that you are getting everything wet. The smartest part is soaking the back, because if you were to pull this off dry and it sticks to itself, you're going to be calling us saying, can I get a new rocker panel piece? It stuck to itself. I couldn't get it apart from itself. So you need to dry it off, grab a corner, soak the top, soak the bottom, and then lift it off. And this might be smart to use a friend. We're trying to show you a solo installation, but it is a very long piece, and the most important thing is don't let it stick to itself. The adhesive on the back will stick to anything. If it's wet, it can't stick to anything. So again, your fingers got to be wet. You roll it back and start spraying it. This is when a friend can help to hold the sheet down, but you want to get it soaking wet. The reason we're getting it wet is so it won't stick to itself, okay? I keep repeating that, but we do so much clear bra work here with full clear bra installations, full wraps. All of our installers have been trained by 3M, and this installer actually has no training whatsoever. It's a novice installer with no clear bra background. Mike's doing a great job. He's making it nice and wet, and he's holding it up. So if it does stick to itself, look, it just pulls off. But you have to keep it wet. Don't let it dry. Just keep spraying it. And now you can walk over to the car and you can stick it on the door above the installation area, as long as the door is clean. If it's not clean, you're going to bring dirt underneath it. So again, if you want invisible paint protection, just bring it over to the car, not like that. Hold both ends, soak the mating surface down, get it nice and wet. Again, this will be the hardest piece, but by the time you do the first two, you'll be able to just stick it on like this, keep everything clean, and it doesn't matter where you put it as long as it's not dried out. Even if it sticks to itself, it'll roll back. You'll be able to release it. Okay, let's continue watching, and there's going to be a lot of adjusting here. And notice the door. It's going to roll up inside of that door. So it's going to be too wide, or you're going to think it's too wide. That's because it's designed to fit inside of the door sill. See how we're putting it on? And it will move if it's wet. If it gets dried out, you're going to have to pull it back, make it wet, and then get it exactly where you want it. So let's watch again, and I'll stop talking. But you can see how it's hanging down slightly below. Get your hands wet, and then we'll do some positioning. And by the time you're done with this, you'll be very good at it. Okay, so we're starting by the rear fender, or the quarter panel, and again, you don't want it to hang over. So the smartest thing to do is line up that bottom corner, go up the side, position it, and then anchor it. So we're anchoring it by pushing some of the water out. And again, you might have to adjust it and pull it up again, but it's okay. Just make sure your edges are clean and you're not hanging inside the door or hanging around the fender. This does not wrap around. All right, then once you get the basic location, you're going to simply wet it down. We're going to make adjustments and go back to this side, soak it again, get it wet. It's got to stay wet to move around. The 3M film is not aggressive, the adhesive, that is. Okay, so again, you want to anchor the other side and make sure you're right up to the edge. Don't go too high. Don't let the film go above the seam or the crack, and just keep on going. Get it wet, pull it up, look to make sure you're lined up properly, make sure you're not hanging down too low, and then start getting the squeegee in, pushing it down, and drying it out. Again, this is not the final step for the mounting. You're just trying to make sure it's looking good, it's following the round curved edge there of the back door. You're making sure that the material is going to be pushed out easy, and just keep on going. Keep your fingers wet, shake up your bottle, make sure the soap is coming out, because with regular water it would grab, it would start drying out. So the soap gives you time to install. The solution is exactly what 3M recommends. So just keep on going. Okay, now as you continue to push the water out, you're going to notice that you're pushing some of the material up inside of the doors. That's like we mentioned, that's how this is a wrapped edge. So you're going to wrap the clear bra over this edge. Don't be nervous. You'll know what's going on when you see you have a little bit excess material above the doors. So at this point, don't push too hard. Get all the wrinkles out or fingers out. Just keep pushing it, and you can use heat if you need to stretch a little bit, if it's bunched up. But as you push the water out and the water out, it's going to continue to grab and dry out. And then you're going to flip over the seal or the urethane plastic inside of the door edge. So just keep watching and you can see how we're doing it here. You want to make sure it's all clean inside the door as well. And hopefully you've watched this video before you start installing it, but you got to clean the surface and you also got to clean inside the doors because you're going to be putting this lip inside. So you'll notice what we're doing now is we're just dealing with some fingers. See those little bunched up areas of material? That's just where the material has come back or pulled back. You can use a towel, use your hand, and as you push the fingers out, you might think it's a little frustrating because sometimes they pop right back. But once it starts to grab, you can see they're going to disappear. One other way to accelerate the bonding is to use a little bit of rubbing alcohol. You'll notice next we're going to take some diluted rubbing alcohol or 70%. That will get rid of these fingers and it'll make it start to grab. So it does take some time, and if you haven't pulled it enough in one direction or the other, you'll get some little fingers. But don't worry, you just have to get it wet, fill them up with water, squeegee them out, pull to the right, pull to the left, 90 degrees in the direction you want it to go, and that'll get rid of the fingers. So let's continue to watch and see how we're doing it. It does take a little bit of time, but once it's down, and it's going to grab and hold really well. Okay, now by the back quarter panel, you can see the material. There's a slight difference in color in the super bright light. You can see how you don't have excess material until the actual lip starts there. So it's really easy to go around the curve, and then when you get up to the actual door area or the door sill, you're going to wrap it under and tuck it in. Okay, so now you can see what we're going to be doing to speed up the bonding process. We're going to grab the rubbing alcohol. That's the soap solution, and this is 70% rubbing alcohol. If you use this, it also will help the adhesive grab quicker. So this is good if you have any fingers that are driving you nuts, or you have any material that's bunched up, because once you put the alcohol inside and you squeegee it out, just like the water soap solution, you'll notice it starts to grab quicker. This is because the alcohol and the adhesive work together to create more of a bond, or a stronger bond. So again, water is fine for positioning, but rubbing alcohol will help in case you have any fingers or any areas that aren't sticking. Maybe you've pulled them off, got a little dirt underneath. So just use the rubbing alcohol and you'll notice the fingers disappear. So hold it down, squeegee it up, and just continue to work it and work it, and use the rubbing alcohol. If you want to get rid of those little fingers, hold them down for a second, press them, and then they'll start grabbing and clinging. It's like saran wrap, basically. It'll cling, but watch what happens when you put a little pressure on, and all the fingers will eventually go away or disappear. Okay, so if you've got a couple of, this is a good troubleshooting area. If you got a couple of spots where the material just seems to be bunched up, where it wasn't placed down in the best spot, a heat gun or a hair dryer will really help. Watch what happens with a heat gun. It actually warms the adhesive up, helps it grab. Just keep using alcohol on it. Soap on the outside for your lubrication. The warm air will make all these fingers go away. Just keep on watching. This is all shot in real time. We're not doing any editing, and we're showing you how to get rid of any little areas that you might notice bunched up, or fingers as they call it in the industry. Just use the heat, use the alcohol, and it will start grabbing. Okay, watch this part right here. Just literally watch what happens. The heat gun and the squeegee combined, and you hold it, and it'll just start grabbing, and you'll be tucking it right down and up and over the edge. Same thing here. It works great. It is tedious, but again, once you get this down, you'll be done. And it'll be on your car for 10 years. You get a 10-year warranty from 3M on cracking, bubbling, fading, or yellowing. So the edge is wrapping right around the corner. Just keep your hands clean, fingers clean, no dirt, and just be patient. Here it is, all installed right across the body line. You can see how you can see a little bit of the PPF, and then it blends right in to the body line. And then going across, it's still even hard to pick up, but if you look for it, you can see it right across there. We did install our skirts back on, our side skirts, covering up the bottom. And also, the pattern is very nice and wide, so it wraps inside the door. So we want everyone to know that. It's not gonna get you're not gonna have an exterior dirt line, especially where the door sill is. So it's very clean, very, very, very invisible, and you are covered on your whole rocker panels and lower door arms.